Hey guys, so welcome to this week's check-in. Something a little bit different. I'm trying to up my game a little bit. As you can see, got the mic in full flow. I'm actually filming on my Sony here, so you get a bit better of a camera angle and a bit better camera, because the camera on my laptop's like 720 and it just doesn't look great, especially with what available light I've got in here. I've got a tiny little, literally to make this lighting work, I have got this tiny little strip light. I think I got it from IKEA for maybe like 10 or something like that, and that just sits on top of my monitor just there, adds a little bit of light in, makes the scene look a little bit better. So this week what I'm going to talk to you about is planning for success. Now, one of the things that like a lot of people don't tend to do is they just tend to be very reactive, so they don't tend to actually kind of plan in the success, and that's something that I want to kind of talk to you about today. Now, this is actually my diary. You can see exactly everything that I'm doing here, and it doesn't matter that you can see, I couldn't care less what you see of what my work is, but yeah, so the whole point of planning for success, and the reason why you can't see much of the planning that I've done, is I'm actually going to add it in now to show you exactly what I want you to be able to do for yourself to then succeed in what you're doing going forward. Now, I know that I have so much going on that it's very difficult for me to remember everything, and also I am quite a forgetful person because there is so much going on. You know, just this week alone I've had magazines contact me, I've had Portugal bookings to deal with and kind of adjust and change. I've got photo shoots that are coming in, I've had kind of, obviously we've got the dog to deal with, you know, I'm trying to diet at the moment, so there's a lot going on with all of that type of stuff, booking in new work, constantly dealing with like DMs and stuff like that, and plus there's just been so many other bits and pieces going on that I find it impossible to kind of keep my head focused on just one thing at a time. So this is where I put in a lot of things that are just simple little things but massively help take a lot of the pressure away from me, because it's like a little reminder to just say, look, this is what you need to do. And also I find it really helpful, and this is something that I learned from my coach Craig Ballantyne, is that to actually plan your week ahead on a Sunday when you're kind of feeling fresh, you've had a Saturday probably obviously doing whatever you're doing, this actually will really help you moving forward to plan ahead to actually make a successful week. So I say to a lot of people as well, like, I'm a fitness photographer, that's what I'm known for, but I also do have a lot of things that I do outside of that, that sometimes it's for friends, sometimes it's for just general other bits and pieces that I want to work for and work towards. Like, as a business, you're never really going to turn away money unless it's something that you really don't want to be doing. So what I've got in here is, and what I'm going to show you in here, is exactly how I plan my week ahead to allow you to allow me to succeed, and also plan in some time to make sure I'm making content. And this is something that I want to be able to keep up with and keep accountable to myself. So what we're going to do is look at, obviously, the kind of I need to turn those notifications off, otherwise you're going to see everything that's going on. Let's close these things down before I get any more of that. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to plan my week out, so that then I've got everything covered and everything out there that I want to be doing, so I can plan for a successful week. Now, I know that obviously it's January, a lot of people who are self-employed are going to be doing their tax returns and doing all that type of stuff. That's taken up a chunk of my time this week. But now moving forward, I need to start planning in what I'm going to do next week to actually be able to succeed and start hitting some of the goals that I set for myself. I wanted to be able to put more content out. I wanted to be able to put out more podcasts, YouTube, live videos. There's a lot of things that I want to be doing this year to really maximise what I can actually achieve with myself, because then I can actually give myself a true kind of figure of actually all this hard work. Is it working? What am I doing well? What am I not doing well? I said to myself last year that I wanted to do this full time. I took up a lot of other work that took me away from doing that, but it actually obviously gave me a kind of base to work from and an income that I could kind of just grow off of. And so obviously there's not a problem with doing that, but that's now like behind me, and I now want to move forward. So without babbling on anymore, what I'm going to show you here is exactly how I'm going to plan out next week. Now, there's a few simple things that I've put in here. For example, we're going to go and get our bathroom sorted next week, so I've got to plan that in. I regularly put in, or I've started putting more regularly when I've got actual meetings to go or like kind of messages to send to people to remind them about like kind of shoots they said about. Just because people say, oh yeah, I definitely want to book in February or January, I get paid then, this is what I'm doing. I don't want to lose out on sales. Plus, I also want to make sure that I'm actually being good with my clients and getting back to them when I do. Something that I was very poor at, or I just kind of go, oh, hang on, I'll just check my DMs and kind of scroll back through stuff and just reread stuff. So by setting these reminders in my diary, it means that I'm not only not missing out with the client, but also makes me look good to the client that I'm actually remembering to go and see them. So, and you can't keep all these things in your head. There's so many things. I probably send on average about 20 to 30 DMs a day to different people about different shoots. It's just impossible to remember. And if you're expected to remember all of those things, it's okay if you're only doing 1 or 2 shoots a month, not 10, 15 when I start getting busier in the summer months. So in here, I've got a couple of reminders. Obviously, I do my check-ins every week. So I try and set a reminder to make the text then or come up with ideas. I've also started setting in something, and I've moved the coffee hour thing here. You'll see it's all on Sundays. Me and my wife have actually started doing an hour where we go and sit in a coffee shop. Try not to take our phones with us. Obviously, like if we're out anyway, we've got our phones, but we put them in the bag. And we just sit there with a book, a like diary or something like that. And we actually plan ahead what we're going to do that week, what we didn't do well last week. And just kind of like spend a bit of time chatting about how we're feeling and what we need to do better. We started implementing that from the start of the year, and honestly, like, it's made such a difference to our relationship. We're both on the same level. We both know what each other's doing during the week, and it just makes a massive difference to our just general day-to-day kind of processes. So it's something that I can highly recommend to any of you, that just schedule in a bit of time with your partner, friend, family, whoever it is, just to then, keep yourself kind of moving forward and actually kind of being productive. The other thing is, obviously, we have our little dog Dudley who's sitting downstairs. We need to make sure he's looked after. Every Friday we send him off to daycare just for a day. It knackers him out, and it's actually really nice for me to be able to just crack on with work, know that he's having a good time. He's not sitting there staring at me going, can you take me for a walk? And I can just get on with work. It's so worth the money. So we always put in on a Sunday to just make sure that we planned ahead for that. If there's any like events that I've got, like I know Jade works Wednesdays and I'm working this Wednesday here, so I need to plan that we're going to drop him off on that Wednesday. So I always put that in my diary just to remind me. And then I've actually started a new process on my website now, where someone books me for a photo shoot. It directly links to my calendar, so that I've got every bit of information in my diary. I double booked myself a couple of times last year when it was a nightmare to try and sort out, and it didn't look very good in front of the client. So one of my goals for this year is to actually be more organised and be ahead with these things, so that nobody can book the same time slots. I can't kind of mix and match things. And if somebody does want to book a later time slot, that I can make sure I can get from one venue to the next venue or wherever location it is, just to make sure that I'm on top of things. I also just like to double check with my diary just to make sure, like, I had quite a lot of previous bookings from last year that I need to make sure that I'm not kind of not missing out on with my new process. So I'm just kind of keeping everything in check, just making sure, going through emails, just double checking that like I haven't forgotten anything, I haven't missed anything. And also, like, I get quite a lot of DMs from like influencers who want to shoot. Sometimes it's not always a paid job, but I'm quite happy to do that in return for the kind of following and the kind of reach that it gains me from shooting with people like that. So sometimes when I just chuck that in my diary, I need to make sure that I've actually put it in as a kind of booking, so that then someone doesn't try and book me for the same day and I get mixed up with it. So it's kind of finding a process that it simplifies everything, and then you can then allow yourself to have the freedom to do whatever else you need to do. I'm also flying off to Portugal on Sunday to shoot some content for my Portugal shoot. So obviously all my flight information's booked in there. I've booked myself out for the day, just to make sure that I'm not, as I say, once again, double booking myself. But to talk about productivity, what I want to be able to do with you guys here is just show you roughly what I think is a good way to set yourself up for being productive with kind of getting out there regularly and putting out content. So I know for myself that Monday, Tuesdays are the days that my wife's often off. Well, she is off, and she does a few bits and pieces, but obviously they're the days that normally I can keep myself relatively free. As you see, I've got a speed awareness course that I was a bit of a naughty boy, and so I've got to go and do that on that Monday. But I try and keep those as free as possible, just to make sure that I can spend a bit of time with her, because she works at the weekends and she works Wednesdays and Fridays. So that's kind of our time together. But what I'm going to show you here is that how you can put in a few reminders for yourself that at least will come up on your phone, or kind of jog your memory to make sure that you're actually then still doing the things that you said you're wanting to do and actually reaching out to people. So on my Sundays, and this is where I'm going to add in regular kind of updates for me to do, I'm going to start off with a new event. And literally with my calendar, I'm just going to go through and put in a few tips here. Now, I don't think I've got it up here. I've got a productivity planner. If you hold that line 1 second, I'm going to go and grab it quick. Voila, here we go. Right, so this is a productivity planner. Now, I really highly recommend that any of you guys who are kind of looking to kind of be productive, keep on top of yourself, get yourself one of these. It's about £20 on Amazon. And for me, the more religious I've become with it, the more productive I've been. So I can only kind of say how good it's been for me. But I'm going to show you kind of just some blank pages. Like, I've obviously got loads of text written in mine, but I don't necessarily need to kind of go through. I can obviously show you some of the bits that I've written in there. I say, like, I've never, because of the work that I was doing before and the travelling, it was very difficult to kind of keep productive with this, purely because I'd spend like 2 days driving to a different country, which meant I was completely out of the loop of being able to do a lot of these things, be online and do that kind of thing. So it was very sporadic that I used it last year, but this year I'm going to try and really concentrate on using it better. So I try and keep this updated. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see, like, I write a list of notes for myself. I'll see the focus on this, there it goes. But a list of kind of information on there, and basically it's got my most important task of the day, secondary tasks of importance, and then additional tasks to kind of get done. Now, it also gives you time slots in to do them in, so it gives you 25-minute kind of sections to be able to do your work in. Now, with this, I can then put in how many of those 25-minute time slots I think it's going to take for me to actually do that work. And this is a really good way of actually keeping yourself kind of in track of what you're doing. You might go, I'm going to spend an hour on this because I know it's only going to take me an hour to get it done. So they're the types of things that you can kind of really like kind of check on your time and like what you're spending on stuff. Now, you could make little things like this going, right, this week I want to, and when you start the week, you write your list of targets to do. So you've got like your 5 most important tasks, 5 secondary most important tasks, and 5 additional tasks that would be great if you got them done. At least then you can go back throughout the week and go, oh, actually, I need to get that done. I'm going to put that in on Tuesday. That's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, so on. And that gives you a list of things, and then it gives you weekly notes that you can kind of keep on top of. It's really handy so you don't forget things. But what we're going to do is use this kind of method to actually kind of get us going forward. So every Sunday, I want to update my productivity. I'll update my productivity planner. Okay, so that means that I can then set this, where is it there? Okay, set info, and then I can basically get this to repeat every week. So now it comes in and it updates exactly every week, and it will alert at time of event. So that then every morning at 11 o'clock I'm going to get an update saying check my productivity planner. And I think it's so good to just do an hour of just kind of keeping up with what you want to be doing. You've then got a list of notes that you can go through and go, right, this week I'm going to film a YouTube video. I'm going to make some content on Instagram. I'm going to I've got a shoot going on Wednesday. I need to get like models sorted or, behind the scenes captured. Whatever it is, you can write those notes in your productivity planner. You've always got it there. So you know, actually, I wrote everything I need to do in there, and then you can go in and tick it off as it goes. So that for me is like really helpful, and the more I remind myself to do that, the more I get stuff done. So then through the week, what I want to be able to do here And this obviously fills up your diary quite quickly, but if you're someone that kind of forgets to post regularly, or like you kind of get stuck with like what to do, having this kind of list of ideas that just remind you about what you need to be doing is so helpful. So sorry I keep looking this way. I've actually plugged my camera into my monitor, and I just want to make sure that everything's still streaming all right and working all right. So if I glance this way, it's just because I'm just checking everything's okay. So what we're going to do here is Monday, I'm going to make a new event, and this can go off every single day. But this is what I like to be able to do. Is I like to wake up at around 6:30, 7. I found it's my kind of best time to wake up at, and it's when I'm actually like thinking productively. So I like to then put in so post to Instagram, and then set that for 7 a.m. so that it reminds me to actually post some content up between that time. Now I've actually found as well that when I do this, actually I'm going to set this for 7:30, because then basically when I get up, obviously there's a few bits that I need to sort out in terms of actually obviously my morning, but what you want to be able to do with this is you can repeat it every day. So then it'll come up and it'll say post to Instagram at that time. So you remember to keep yourself kind of consistent with doing it. Now, obviously I've got 2 channels. I've got the coaching, and I've also got my page, which is something that I need to kind of keep on top of. Now, if I try and do them at the same time, it's just going to get a bit over the top. So what I'm going to do here now is the photography coach post. And I can do that for, let's say, 12 o'clock. So it gives me a few hours. I can then have a think about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to post, and it just reminds me to keep on top of it. As I say, otherwise I just forget these little things, and they're the little bits and pieces that I kind of like get stuck on. Now they're the little bits that keep me up on date with that. I'm now going to go to Friday, because Fridays I know are normally the days where I get a lot more freedom, and as long as it depends if I'm shooting with someone, they're the days that I normally get to make kind of content and film bits and pieces like that. So I want to, and the way I'm going to start doing this is because I think it's the easiest way for me to capture all of this, is I want to be able to film videos. I can strip the audio from it and use that for a podcast. I can then also use that video footage for Instagram, for well, maybe not for Instagram, but for Facebook and for YouTube. So I can give this as a video to YouTube to then go, this is how I plan my diary out. Then also, obviously stripping the audio from that, it kind of ticks off quite a few boxes. It means the podcast's done, the Facebook's being updated, and also YouTube's being updated. So it gives me regular content. So I want to plan ahead, shoot video content for socials. So I keep forgetting to do this, get the info, and I want that to remind me once again every week. I don't want it to remind me every single day. I don't need that, but every week I just want it to remind me on the Friday to go and shoot the content. Now obviously my check-ins that I do with my clients, I try and do that on a Wednesday, just so then I'm ahead with it. I'm actually filming this on Sunday purely because I just didn't get a chance on Wednesday because I was too busy. But yes, I try and do that then, so I've got the text ready to be able to send to my clients, so I'm not kind of late with it. One thing that I wanted to make sure is that if they're coming to me for accountability, they're going to get it on the day that I say I'm going to send it on. Otherwise it doesn't look great on me. Everyone knows we all get busy and we all kind of have lots of things to think about, but obviously this is where being ahead really helps, and it just makes you look more professional and on top of what you're doing. So these little tips here are just something that, one thing that I know is that if you want to see how busy someone is, you want to check their diary. If their diary is regularly full of posts, content, and like just bits to remind them of what they're doing, then you're going to have that constant reminder, go do this, do that, do this. I know that when I plan in on a Friday that I'm going to shoot my video content, I know that Saturday, which generally tends to be a day that my wife's at work, I can then post my content onto my social media platform. So edit video and share on socials, and I want to be able to do that every single week, just so that I don't miss it. I kind of become repetitive with it, and then every Sunday or Saturday, you know that content's going to be there, ready for you to go. So instantly, my diary's starting to look a lot fuller. Now, there's other little bits and pieces, like I've got payments that I've got coming out. Now, obviously, it's filled up my diary quite a lot. And it's obviously just a lot of information on there but it's better to have that information on there just reminding you so that you don't miss it. Now, if you do miss it, it's not the end of the world. Like, it happens, everyone gets busy and kind of things happen. But realistically, the consistency of doing things is what actually gets you there in the long run. If you think every day, like I've got 4,000 followers on my account. Now, a lot of people get bent out of shape going, I've only got 200 followers, like how can I earn any money? How can I do all of this? The only way to grow that is by consistently doing it. Like, I spend hours and hours and hours every day, well, not every day, but like regularly, to then post content. That might mean I take 5 minutes and I just think, oh, I've got a photo there. Now, being a photographer, I've always got photos to use. I need to then pair that to some content. So I know that I've got that content to be able to post out, but by regularly doing it, I show people that I'm regularly busy, I'm keeping up with everything, and I just want to keep that awareness out there, that people can see that I'm out there. It grabs their attention. They might think, oh, I want to do a photo shoot. He's the guy to go to. He's always giving me tips and advice. That's where you get the work from, and that's where, without kind of being in people's faces going, buy this, buy this, buy this, that's where you make money. That's where you can actually get a following and people who trust and go, oh, actually, like, you know, I like to post about positivity and keeping things good. That means that then people will come to me and go, actually, I'm not feeling great, I might check out Ben's content. He always like kind of puts a smile on my face or gets me kind of motivated to do more. So that's where I kind of use my knowledge, and that's where my thinking goes to. I always think, how can I benefit someone else? So by doing that, I know that my posts on Instagram are always aimed to benefit someone else. Now, that could be a multiple different things. That could be that someone's going to look at your photo and go, actually, I really like that image. I really want to look like he or she that's in that photo. Sometimes it doesn't always mean the text will correspond to what they're thinking, but sometimes that, oh, actually, I wouldn't mind doing a shoot with Ben. It's going to give me a goal to aim towards. That's vital. That's like so good for someone to be able to go, actually, I want to shoot with this person. Like, their content looks good. I want to have a photo shoot with them. They're going to then book you in the future to then have a goal to aim towards. And that's where you work with the client to then go, right, actually, this is what we can achieve together. So by having this list of goals set out that you can then keep on top of, means that you're going to then be posting regular content. You're going to be keeping up with all of the goals that you've set, and the other goals that you've set, as in like maybe financial goals or just kind of aims to be able to do things, you can then also plan that in on here. So it could be that every morning that you, on Monday, you want to take like 20 minutes to actually do a bit of like learning. Maybe that's like, you know, you've got like a train journey, or you know, like you've got a bit of free time you always have on a Monday. That's when you can go in and actually learn more about the things that you want to do. So that could mean that by learning, that means you actually go out and shoot something, whether you've got a model to shoot or not. You might know that every Tuesday you've got like 2 hours free to spare because it's before you pick your kids up and you've got time to be able to spare. So you can plan that in your diary, that you go Thursday, plan for Tuesday. Every Tuesday I've got that free time, I want to have a shoot booked in. That's where, if you said to me, oh, I can't shoot regularly, you can find time. You can always find time. And if you really want something, you will find the time. I wanted something, so I found the time. I needed to have the money behind me to do that, so I found the money. I made it. I made that money. It gave me the opportunity to now go and do this. If I don't do what I'm doing now, I won't get to the next stage. I've got goals that are a lot bigger than this, but I realise I need to be accountable to you guys who are going to be watching this content and reading it and seeing what I'm doing. They're the types of things that I need to be on top of to make sure that I'm at the top of my level, to then give you guys the best and then to let my business grow. So if you want to make these things happen, you have to find the time. That's why planning ahead, being in charge of your diary and actually really being on top of things means that if I said to you, you only did 5 paid shoots last year and you earned, I don't know, £1,000 out of it, you can look and go, well, actually, I know I have 2 hours free every Tuesday or Saturday, whatever day it is that suits your diary. You then know that you can go, right, I'm going to plan a shoot for that. That means you could effectively have 52 shoots over the year. Now, if the first 10 weren't paid, and then the next 10 you charge 50, and the next 10 you charge 100, then the next 10 you charge 150. By the end of the year, suddenly you're actually at a point where you're going, wow, I've actually increased my money, and I've shot regularly, and I've always got content to post. And that's from just having 2 hours of the day that you've pre-planned to do something with. So this is why I'm sending this out to you, because I want you to get in charge of your diary like I'm doing. I want to see you guys kind of putting in the time to go, right, these are the times I know I can shoot. I'm going to make it happen then. And then having that happen, you've then set those targets in and you've actually made those goals that you set in to do more and shoot more. So that could be that, like, oh, I need to practice my editing. I haven't spent enough time editing. I need to learn more of that. Boom, you're going to plan that in every Wednesday night that you go, I've got 3 hours spare, the kids go to sleep, the missus watches her programme, or Mrs. Partner, whatever. I'm going to then spend that time learning how to do that. So you stick it in your diary and make sure it's in there, because then when you're sitting there going, oh, I'm knackered, you go, actually, I'm going to go and do this because it's going to make me feel good. Then Thursday morning, I'm going to get up and go, oh, actually, I learned how to dodge and burn better. I learned how to colour correct things better. And that's how, by the end of the year, you go, wow, I've not only learned how to do this, I've actually become more structured with it, and I've also started to make a better income from it. So I hope this helps. I know it's a big old video I've rabbled on for, but it's here to be able to help you get in control of your diary and get on top of everything that you set for this year to actually make your goals achievable, and actually just make sure that you're posting regularly, which will only enhance your business if that's what you want to do. So I hope this helps. Leave a comment in the section below if you like this and you want more of this. But yes, hopefully I'll send you, we'll be keeping up with more YouTube videos. That's the whole plan of this year. Try and help you better yourself as a photographer, as a videographer. But yeah, if you like that, also, if you're new to this and you're checking out the photography coach, click the link below, check out my coaching. I want to help you turn your business around and make more money. I started off making £2,000 to £3,000 a year, working my arse off. I've now got to the point where I'm just over 100 days worth of work and earning £40,000 to £50,000 a year. If we can turn your business into that, well, then we're all happy. So get in touch with me if you want any more information on that. But I hope this helps, and I'll see you again in the next one.